Hello there. Mistborn, The Final Empire by one of my favourite authors, if not my favourite. There we go. Brandon Sanderson. You can see that. He is an incredible author. He's written a lot of my favourite high fantasy books, and we got to talk about Mistborn today. Now, the way that this video is going to work is I'm going to talk about my overall spoiler-free thoughts first, and then after that, then I will talk about my thoughts in depth with, of course, spoilers. So let's start with the spoiler-free ones, and let's just put Mistborn down for a second while I discuss. So, the book has a few subplots. There is a master and apprentice subplot, there is a romance subplot, there is a mystery subplot, and that is all intertwined in a epic and grand, but also quite grounded because it's character-based high fantasy story. Pretty much the premise is that the bad guy or typical fantasy antagonist has won. Voldemort has won. Darth Vader has won. These characters have won, and they've been ruling over the land for 1,000 years. Mistborn is set in what is called the Final Empire. That is what the Lord Ruler, the antagonist, that's what his regime is called, the Final Empire. And in it, these people are suppressed, called Scar. They were the people that rebelled against the Lord Ruler 1,000 years ago. And then there's the nobility. Now, the nobility were the people that, of course, supposedly supported the Lord Ruler 1,000 years ago. The main plot is that a character called Vin has these magical powers called allomancy. She is very introverted. She lives on the streets with her brother, and she really does not like anyone at first. She doesn't trust anyone. She really doesn't like people. She thinks that they're terrible, and she's had a really tough life. And this character, Kelsia, I think it's Kelsia, takes her in, and then she gets part of a plot to try and take down the Lord Ruler in a very heist-like story. It's a heist story. It's an epic fantasy heist. Now, all the characters in this are amazing. Every single character in the thieving crew you will fall in love with. Vin does have a romantic subplot, and the character that she falls in love with, he is a really great character. Their relationship is quite wholesome, and they help each other grow, which is great. I really like to see that. They don't just love each other because that the author determined it, because Sanderson said, well, we've got to have a subplot that's about love so that YA readers will read it. No. It's really well done because it's earned. Their relationship and where they get to by the end of the book is earned, and it doesn't take up that much time, but it's still there. I will say that the world, because this is high fantasy and it's Brandon Sanderson, if you don't know what high fantasy means, I should have explained that at the beginning, but what it means is that it is a book set in a fantasy world that's not like our own. So Harry Potter, for example, is low fantasy. That is set in a world that is like our own, but with magical elements. High fantasy is a completely new world that the author has created. Think Lord of the Rings. But what Brandon Sanderson does is he doesn't really do medieval worlds. He does things that are completely different. And some of them have bits of medieval elements to them, but sometimes they're set on planets that are completely alien, like Roshar from the Stormlight series. Final Empire is quite different because there are not really much greenery at all. And there are these things called mists that at night time they go and cover the land, and so some people are really scared, like most of the population are quite scared to go out into the mists at night. I won't spoil anything more, but the world is really well thought out. The politics is done well and interesting, but isn't too much. What Sanderson manages to do is he manages to create these worlds that feel so believable and alive, but without ever info dumping you. You always learn it through the characters, through the character development, through how they see. For example, Vin, who of course is a Scar who lives on the streets, she sees the final empire as being very oppressive, and the Lord Ruler as just being someone who it's just like a force of nature. You can't fight against a force of nature. They are just ever present. And at first she is completely does not believe Kelsier when he says that he is going to take down the Lord Ruler. Not at all. Alright, so those are my spoiler-free thoughts out of the way. I really liked this book. I thought that all its characters were amazing. I love the story. The twists in it towards the end were incredible. If you haven't read a Brandon Sanderson book, the ending of his books are always the best parts, when he brings all of the characters' arcs together in epic battles that just feel so satisfying. And Mistborn is no exception. Now, on to spoilers. Let's start off with the biggest spoiler, probably, and that is Kelsier's death. Now, I did not actually see this coming. He's a master character, so of course Kelsier was going to die. But I didn't see it. I actually thought that he was going to become the villain. I did think that the Lord Ruler was going to get taken down in the first book. Unlike a lot of people apparently think, because I've seen other opinions on the internet. But I thought that the Lord Ruler was going to die, and then Kelsier, because he is, of course, he's very egotistical and people love him, he was going to become corrupted and become the new villain. He's going to be the true villain of the story. That didn't happen. Kelsier died, and with his death, he managed to make the people, of course, rise up and have the strength to take down the Lord Ruler, which was absolutely insane. His death, it was so much. What else? What's his brother called? I'm blanking on it. What's Kelsier's brother? Is it Marsh? I think it's Marsh. I'm pretty sure it's Marsh. Also, by the way, this is the 10th anniversary version. The paperback, the normal paperback version is a lot easier to carry around, and it's actually quite a lot smaller. This was a mistake to keep in my bag because it got kind of frayed. I don't like it. It makes it. Still looks good though. Still looks great. So you can see, but it's white, and that makes me a bit sad. But I got to read the books more, so I can't really complain, can I? More spoilers. I think it's Marsh. Him turning into an Inquisitor. Yeah, I didn't see it coming. I thought when he got killed that he died completely. I thought it was over. I thought it was completely over for Marsh. Turned out it wasn't. And Marsh actually became an Inquisitor and then helped to defeat the Lord Ruler at the end. Which, that was an incredible battle with Vin using taking the bracelets off, and then because he uses the not Allomancy, I don't know how it's pronounced, but Fulminancy, whatever the thing that Sazed has, because he's a terroristman, of course. The Lord Ruler, we got also find out, is actually not the hero that you've been reading about and that the characters have been reading about. The Lord Ruler is actually an imposter who killed the apparent hero, the hero of ages, and took his place, and using his magic, kept himself young again. Well, the appearance of keeping himself young by restoring his age, by getting old and then young again. Yeah, it'll make sense. I'm not going to explain the magic here, but the magic is really good. Speaking of the magic, let's talk about Allomancy. So, of course, Allomancy, you're not going to be here if you haven't read the book probably, because this is the spoiler section, so you probably have an idea of what it is, but it's based on metals and digesting certain metals that give you certain powers. People that have these powers and can digest one metal to do one power are called Mistings, and then the very, very rare ones are called Mistborn. And of course these can only happen if because the noblemen are the ones with the powers. If the noblemen have a child, the only way a Scar can have Mistborn powers or Misting powers is if they have a child with a Scar, and then that results in a Scar with powers. So that was a very long-winded way of saying that's how Vin and Kelsier had their powers. But yeah, the Lord Ruler, him getting taken down. The thing I love about this book is that it works really well as a standalone. You can read it, the Lord Ruler gets defeated, Vin becomes much more happy by the end of it. She realizes that Reen didn't actually betray her, that's of course her brother, and Kelsey gets finished, and his arc gets finished, and everything does conclude very well, and you can be really satisfied with the ending. But it does leave open some stuff about what this deepness is, what the Well of Ascension is, what's going to happen to the politics now that most of the nobility is gone or fled, and that the rebellion have taken up the capital with Eland as the now leader. So yeah, I absolutely loved Mistborn: The Final Empire. I can't even speak. That's how much I like it. I cannot wait to start to read The Well of Ascension, the second book. There is a trilogy, if you didn't know. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, let me know down in the comments below. Subscribe to see more, all of that lovely stuff. But if you don't want to subscribe, that's fine too. You do you. Let me know what books you want me to review in the future. And I will see you all later. Bye bye.